Imagine a land bigger than Pluto. That's Russia. It's a land of snowy plains and huge forests. This tough land has shaped its people. They are strong and resilient, just like their home. For centuries, many groups fought for control of this vast land. Vikings sailed its rivers. Mongol horsemen rode across its steppes. Each left their mark on Russia's history. But one thing remained constant: the fighting spirit of the Russian people. They defended their land with courage and tenacity. This spirit echoes through Russia's history from the Tsars to today. In the 16th century, powerful rulers emerged, the Tsars. They united the Russian lands under their rule. The Tsars built a mighty empire, expanding its borders through conquest and diplomacy. One of the most famous Tsars was Peter the Great. He was fascinated by the West. He modernized Russia's army and navy. He even built a new capital city, St. Petersburg, as Russia's window to Europe. Under the Tsars, Russia became a major European power. But their reign was not without turmoil. Rebellions and wars were common. The struggle for power was a constant theme in Russia's story. In 1812, Napoleon Bonaparte, the Emperor of France, set his sights on Russia. He led his Grand Armée, the largest army Europe had ever seen, into the heart of Russia. The Russians, led by General Mikhail Kutuzov, refused to fight a direct battle. Instead, they retreated, burning everything behind them, a scorched earth strategy. The French army, weakened by hunger and the bitter Russian winter, was finally defeated. Napoleon's dream of conquering Russia lay in ruins. This victory cemented Russia's reputation as a formidable military power. The 20th century brought immense change to Russia. World War I put immense strain on the country. The people were tired of war and hardship. They demanded change. In 1917, revolution erupted. The Tsar was overthrown, ending centuries of rule. A new government, the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, took control. This was a time of great upheaval. Russia was plunged into a bloody civil war. The Bolsheviks emerged victorious, and a new era began. The era of the Soviet Union. Section 5. The Red Army rises. The Soviet Union in World War II. In 1941, Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, broke its pact with the Soviet Union and invaded. This marked the beginning of one of the most devastating chapters in the history of the Soviet Union. The invasion, known as Operation Barbarossa, was a massive military campaign that caught the Soviet forces off guard. The Germans advanced rapidly, capturing vast territories and inflicting heavy casualties. The Great Patriotic War, as it's known in Russia, was a brutal conflict. The Eastern Front became the largest and bloodiest theater of war in World War II. The Soviet Union faced immense challenges, with the German army pushing deep into Soviet territory. The Red Army, despite being initially unprepared, began to regroup and mount a fierce resistance. The Soviet people endured unimaginable hardships. Civilians were caught in the crossfire, and many were forced to flee their homes. The harsh winters, coupled with the destruction of infrastructure, made survival incredibly difficult. Families were torn apart, and the entire nation was plunged into a state of constant fear and uncertainty. Cities were reduced to rubble. Iconic cities like Leningrad and Stalingrad faced relentless bombardment and siege. The destruction was so extensive that entire neighborhoods were obliterated. The Soviet Union's industrial capacity was severely impacted, but the spirit of the people remained unbroken. Millions died from fighting, starvation, and disease. The human cost of the war was staggering. Starvation was rampant as food supplies dwindled. Disease spread rapidly in the overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. Mass graves became a common sight, a grim reminder of the war's toll on the civilian population. But the Red Army fought back with incredible ferocity. Despite the overwhelming odds, Soviet soldiers displayed remarkable bravery and resilience. The Red Army launched several counteroffensives, gradually pushing the German forces back. The determination and sacrifice of the Soviet soldiers were instrumental in turning the tide of the war. From the Battle of Stalingrad, a turning point in the war, to the capture of Berlin, the Red Army played a crucial role in defeating Nazi Germany. The Battle of Stalingrad was one of the deadliest battles in history, with both sides suffering heavy losses. However, the Soviet victory at Stalingrad marked the beginning of the German retreat. The Red Army continued its advance, eventually reaching Berlin in 1945. The iconic image of the Soviet flag being raised over the Reichstag symbolized the end of the war in Europe. This victory came at a tremendous cost, but it solidified the Soviet Union's position as a global superpower. The war left the Soviet Union devastated, with millions of lives lost and vast areas in ruins. However, the resilience and determination of the Soviet people ensured that the nation emerged stronger. The Soviet Union's role in the defeat of Nazi Germany established it as a dominant force on the world stage, shaping the geopolitical landscape for decades to come. Section 6. The Cold War, a new kind of battle. After World War II, a new conflict emerged, the Cold War. This period was marked by a stark division between the Eastern Bloc, led by the Soviet Union, and the Western Bloc, led by the United States. The world was essentially split into two opposing camps, each with its own ideology, political system, and way of life. This was not a war of tanks and guns, but of ideology and influence. The battle lines were drawn not on physical battlefields but in the hearts and minds of people around the world. Propaganda became a powerful tool, with each side trying to portray itself as the champion of freedom and justice. The United States and the Soviet Union became locked in a global struggle for dominance. This struggle manifested in various forms, from military parades showcasing might, to high-stakes political summits, where leaders attempted to negotiate and outmaneuver each other. Espionage was rampant, with spies and secret agents working tirelessly to gather intelligence and undermine the opposition. Both sides built up massive nuclear arsenals. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction, MAD, meant that any nuclear attack by one superpower would result in a devastating retaliatory strike, ensuring total annihilation for both. This precarious balance of terror kept the peace, but it also kept the world on edge. The threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large over the world. People lived in constant fear of a potential nuclear war. Anti-nuclear protests became common, and governments conducted regular drills to prepare citizens for the unthinkable. The doomsday clock, a symbolic representation of how close humanity was to catastrophic destruction, became a chilling reminder of the stakes involved. For decades, the Cold War shaped global politics and fueled conflicts around the globe. Proxy wars in Korea, Vietnam, and other regions saw the superpowers supporting opposing sides, turning local conflicts into international crises. The United Nations often became a battleground for diplomatic confrontations, as each side sought to gain the upper hand. The Cold War was a time of fear and uncertainty. Civil defense films instructed people on how to survive a nuclear attack, and fallout shelters were built in homes and public spaces. The public's reaction to the nuclear threat ranged from resigned acceptance to active protest, reflecting the deep anxiety of the era. But it was also a time of technological innovation and competition. The race to develop new technologies was fierce, with both sides investing heavily in scientific research and development. Early computer technology, advancements in various scientific fields, and groundbreaking innovations were all products of this intense rivalry. As both sides sought to outdo each other in the space race and other fields, remarkable achievements were made. The Apollo-Soyuz handshake in space symbolized a rare moment of cooperation amidst the competition. Early satellite launches and the race to put a man on the moon captured the world's imagination and showcased the potential of human ingenuity. Despite the tension, there were also moments of cultural exchange and collaboration. Sports competitions, artistic endeavors, and scientific collaborations provided a glimpse of what was possible when humanity worked together. These moments of connection reminded the world that even in the darkest times, there was hope for a better future. The Cold War eventually came to an end with the fall of the Berlin Wall and the subsequent reunification of Germany. Celebrations erupted as people rejoiced in the newfound freedom and the promise of a more peaceful world. The end of the Cold War marked the beginning of a new era, one filled with both challenges and opportunities. Today, we reflect on the Cold War as a complex and multifaceted period in history. Interviews with historians and archival footage help us understand the profound impact it had on the world. The lessons learned from this era continue to shape our approach to international relations and remind us of the importance of diplomacy and cooperation. Section 7. Post-Soviet Russia finding its place. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. This momentous event reshaped the geopolitical landscape. Russia, now independent, faced numerous challenges: economic hardship, political instability, and a search for a new identity. The transition from communism to a market economy was difficult. Many Russians experienced poverty and hardship. The country grappled with corruption and crime. Despite these challenges, Russia sought to reassert itself on the world stage. It rebuilt its military and re-engaged in international affairs, determined to reclaim its position as a major power. Section 8. The Bear stirs Russia on the world stage today. Today, Russia is a major player in global politics. It has asserted its influence in regions like Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Its actions, from annexing Crimea to intervening in Syria, have sparked controversy and concern worldwide. Russia's relationship with the West, particularly the United States, remains complex and often strained. There are disagreements over issues like Ukraine, Syria, and cybersecurity. The world watches closely as Russia charts its course in the 21st century. Its actions have significant implications for global stability and security. The future of Russia's relationship with the West remains uncertain. Section 9. A legacy of strength and resilience. Russia's history is a tapestry woven with threads of triumph and tragedy, resilience and reinvention. From the early days of the Tsars to the revolutionary fervor that reshaped the nation, each era has left an indelible mark on the Russian soul. The echoes of past battles and victories still resonate in the hearts of its people. From the icy plains of Siberia to the halls of the Kremlin, the Russian people have faced countless challenges and emerged time and again as a force to be reckoned with. The vast expanse of Siberia, with its harsh winters and rugged terrain, has tested the endurance of those who call it home. Yet, it is in these very conditions that the spirit of resilience has been forged. Their story is a testament to the enduring human spirit, the capacity for both great suffering and extraordinary courage. The Russian Revolution, a period of immense upheaval, saw the birth of a new era, one that demanded immense sacrifices and unwavering determination. The faces of those who lived through these times tell a story of hope, struggle, and an unyielding will to persevere. As Russia navigates the complexities of the 21st century, one thing is certain: the spirit of its people, forged in the crucible of history, will continue to shape its destiny. The juxtaposition of old and new Russia is a testament to the nation's ability to adapt and evolve. Modern Moscow, with its towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, stands as a symbol of progress and innovation, while the remnants of its storied past serve as a reminder of the journey that brought them here. We can look to the stars and wonder about the vastness of the cosmos. Russia's contributions to space exploration, from the launch of Sputnik to the achievements of its astronauts, have cemented its place in the annals of history. The view of Earth from space, a small blue dot in the vast expanse, reminds us of our shared humanity and the boundless potential that lies within us. Yet, here on Earth, the story of Russia reminds us that the human drama, filled with its own complexities and wonders, is no less awe-inspiring. The diverse tapestry of Russian life, from the bustling cities to the serene countryside, is a reflection of the nation's rich cultural heritage. Each individual, each story, adds to the collective narrative of a people who have weathered the storms of history and emerged stronger for it. The emotional moments captured in the annals of Russian history serve as a poignant reminder of the resilience and strength that define this great nation.